Hi, my creative peeps. It's Craftin' Just Because with Chris Cowan. I'm just getting set up here so I can see our comments. Hopefully everybody's having a fabulous Thursday. I don't know about you guys, but I am tired today. I'll get that energy back, hopefully. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Well, so today, or this week actually, we've been playing with the Hallows Night Magic Halloween stamp set. Hi, Diana. And we've been doing some Halloween projects, which is one of my favorite holidays. And so we're going to make a fun project that was inspired by the paper pixie today. And I'll show you that here in a minute, but I wanted to show you that this is a bundle and it coordinates with these dies. It has a border die, a couple label dies. It has the bats that cut out these two bats in the stamp set. It also has a floral die with leaves, and then a couple smaller bats, and then one that cuts out the large spider. So it's a fun set. I know I've used the label dies for many other projects, which is kind of fun. So today we're going to make with this set a double flap top box. And so this is what the sides look like. And how it works is I do have a magnet here, but you can open it up, and then I added a little spider on the inside. But you can put some little treats in here. You could change it up and not do it for Halloween and do a gift card in here or a little gift. You could do little 3x3 note cards in here. So there's lots of possibilities with this box. And I just thought it was a fun way to use this stamp, open if you dare. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Now, if it's the first time you've watched this, don't worry. I do post, when I share this video, all the directions on my blog. But you're first going to want to bring in your Stampin' Trimmer or any trimmer that you have. And you're going to need a few pieces of cardstock for this project. So let me tell you what sizes they are. Let me just get to my notes. Okay, so we do have a scrap of Whisper White cardstock. I did pre-cut a few of the labels here. I did it in Blackberry Bliss, some in the Designer Series paper, and then some in the Cajun Craze. And then we have two pieces of Designer Series paper that are cut at 1 7/8 by 3. We have a piece of basic black cardstock that we're using for the base of the box. So right here, the base of the box. And that is cut at 7 1/4 by 7 1/4, and we're going to score this together. And then we also have a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock. And this is cut at 5 7/16 by 9 13/16. And we're also going to score this together. Okay, so we first want to start with our base box. And we are going to score this at 1 inch and 2 inch on all 4 sides. So we're going to go ahead and score it 1, 2, turn it. Now I will admit the hardest part of this box is going to be cutting it up, but you're in luck. I posted pictures of what that should look like so that you run into no issues when you're making this. Because I know it can sometimes be challenging, as you guys have seen me do on Facebook before. I've made a wrong cut somewhere because I was busy talking or not paying attention. Okay, so we got all 4 sides on there. I'm just going to set this aside, and I'm going to bring in this Cajun Craze piece. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start on the 9 13/16 side, and we're going to score it at 2 13/16 right here, and 3 1/4, and we're going to do that on both ends. And then on the 5 7/16 side, we want to score it at 1 1/16 on each side. Okay, so now we're done at the moment with our paper trimmer. I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to bring in my bone folder. And we're going to first work on the base of the box. So let's first burnish all those score lines and get a nice crisp clean edge so that we can put this box together nicely. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. We are going to make the flaps of our box on each side. So we're going to cut off the 3 corners on both these sides. So I'm going to cut up to that first score line. Then I'm going to cut these 2 corners off. And then I'm going to cut up to this score line and cut this box off. Okay. Same thing on this side. Cut these 2 off. And this one off. So you're just literally cutting the 3 corners off. I flipped it over to the opposing side to do the same thing. Hi, Kathy. Okay, so we have one left to do the same thing on this side. We're cutting up to the first score line. We're cutting off these 2, and then we're going to get rid of that extra little square here. Okay, so that's what you're left with, like a little plus sign. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to hold it this way, and I'm going to cut up to this first score line, and I'm going to wedge out on both these sides. Okay. So cut up to the first score line and wedge both sides. Flip it over. Do the same thing on this side. Get that little piece, okay, and now we have one more to wedge out here. Okay, so that's what you're left with. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the base of this box together, and what you're going to do is you're going to put this corner into this corner just like this, and you're going to glue it. And you're going to do the same on all the corners, and then we'll glue the flaps down. And what that does is it just makes the box a little sturdier. And you can use any type of strong adhesive you want. I love our Stamp and Seal. I've been using that a lot lately, but usually for my videos, I use my liquid multi-purpose glue only because I tend to talk, and sometimes I need that little extra room to pay attention to what I'm doing because I'm maybe looking up or reading my directions or something like that. Okay, so we have 2 more to go. With the liquid multi-purpose glue, you just kind of have to hold it for just a moment, just to get it in place, make sure it seals up. Okay, last corner. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, this is my favorite glue. It's kind of forgiving at first. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to glue all these tabs in. So I'm just going to add glue all over it, fold my flap in, and then I just take my bone folder and I run that down, make sure it's nice and sealed, and then I'll just work my way around the box. Put that in. Okay, our last one, and then we'll make the flap top. Okay, so there's our box base, and it's very sturdy, so you could put something heavier in it if you needed to, or what have you. But now we're going to set that aside for just a moment. And now we're going to bring in that Cajun Craze piece, and we're going to burnish all the score lines on this one too. I think I already messed it up. I think I miscounted on my score line. This was supposed to be a 1-inch score line. We'll see here. I did. See, told you guys, I get to talking. Okay, so we need to fix this. I made these too short. Let me make sure my directions are right. Okay. So we want this to be 1 inch. So we need to go on this side 1 inch. So I'm going to put my first score line from the bottom of the base back, and I'll make sure my directions are adjusted when I give you guys these directions, because I totally messed that one up. Apparently I even wrote it wrong. Okay. Let's fix this sucker up. Okay, so now we're going to ignore the middle score line is what we're going to do. Let's make sure we... Yep, okay. We're good to go now. So now what we're going to do is this is how you're going to cut your box. You're going to cut out this middle section right here. And you're going to do that on both sides. And thankfully, you won't see this score line when we're done, because I think we're going to be cutting it off. Hallelujah. Okay. And now, hold on just a moment here. Just adjusting my directions so we make sure we have them right when you guys get them. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we've cut out those two middle sections on both sides. Now we're going to cut up to this next score line here, and we're going to wedge it out. Okay. Just like that. And you're going to do the same thing on both sides and both ends. And like I said, I have pictures of this on my blog with our corrected instructions. Okay, so this is what you're left with. Okay, now we have one more cut that we have to make. And this is where I like to bring in my trimmer back in. We are going to diagonally cut from this corner to this corner. So I'm just going to place it in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to put that corner in and that corner in and cut it off just like that. And we're going to do the same thing on all four corners. Last one, and then we could put our little guy together. Okay. So we're left with this funky little piece that looks just like this. Okay. So now we're going to take our glue and we're going to glue these tabs into the corner there. So I'm just going to glue into my corner. Just like that. Do the same thing on this side. Oh, you will see the middle. You could cut designer series paper if you made the same mistake if you were making it with me and cover that up, which I probably will do later on mine. Okay, now we just have these two corners to do. See, every mistake is fixable. Sometimes you got to start with a new piece. Sometimes you can cover it up. And goodness knows, I always tend to make my mistakes on camera. Okay. So now we're done with that part. So see how this is going to go. You're going to glue in your box and then you have your flip top. Just like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue down our base. Set that right into the center of that square. Story of your life. Yeah, mine too. Oh boy. And then I'm just going to run my bone folder inside. Okay. Now we're going to add our designer series paper that we pre-cut. So you could put it on whatever side you want. Just a second, I'm just looking at mine. Yep, really quick. Don't want to make another mistake here. Okay. So I'm centering that on down, and then we'll open it up and put the other one down. Okay. So now we're going to set that aside for just a moment. And what I did here, it depends on what color you want. I double layered my my tags, and actually I'm going to probably do all three because you're going to be opening and closing it. You want something that's kind of stronger. So what I'm going to do first, oh, actually we're going to do something with that one. So I'm going to glue these two together. I forgot a piece off of this one. And I'm just going to layer these right on top of each other just to make it a little thicker, because you are going to be opening and closing. And on the end of this, we're going to be putting a magnet. Okay. So what I'm first going to do is we're going to bring in our Cajun Craze piece here and some black ink. And we are going to stamp Open If You Dare. And I'm only going to be using part of the tag, so I'm going to glue it. I'm going to stamp it down towards the bottom. Just like that. And then while we have the ink out, I'm going to do a few spiders here so that we could decorate our box with some spiders. So I'm going to do a few of these, oops, little spiders. And we'll just fussy cut the little ones out. The big one has a die cut, but we'll just quickly cut that up. And then before we do that, I'm going to bring my trimmer back in, and I'm just going to cut off my sentiment just like that. Okay. I'm going to glue this right up here to the top. Just like so. Okay. And then I'm going to quickly fussy cut out my little spiders here. And the trick to fussy cutting is move the paper, not your scissors. And you don't have to be exact, you know, just as long as it looks good, there's no uneven cuts, it'll be perfect. Whoops, I almost cut his leg off. Okay, last one. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue a couple of them on the other side of my tag here. And then I want to glue the other one inside my box. Just some fun. Okay. Now I'm going to put glue only on half my tag. So I'm going to just put glue like this on half my tag, and I'm going to glue it to just this front flap. Okay. Next, I'm going to bring in these tiny little, uh-oh, where did my little magnets go? Well, shoot, oh, here they are. Okay, these tiny little magnets that I got off Amazon, and they're very strong. They're used for paper crafting, and I'm going to glue it onto my tag, just like so. I'm going to let it sit for just a moment, And then I'm going to show you guys a trick here. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and add some of our iridescent pearls. Oops. To the top of my tag. And then I add one to each of my spider heads. Whoops. Just like that. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We have one step left. So now what I want to do is I kind of poke a little dot of glue, or not a dot of glue, I'm sorry. I'm going to kind of pencil mark right here where that magnet hits. And on the opposite side, I'm going to glue down my magnet. The reason I do this is these magnets are very, very strong. And so they'll rip your paper if you don't put a layer in between. And I have them linked on my blog post here below. So watch, when you shut it, it'll do the magnetic closure. Uh-oh. Did I not get it? Needs to be up further. Let's try it now. There we go. See? So then you go and it closes. This one I think needs to dry. I'm being too impatient. Okay, let's get that glued down. I'll hold it down. Let it dry for just a moment. There we go. It did it. Perfect. So that's our project for today, you guys. I do apologize for the mistake there when we first started scoring, but I have corrected that on the instructions. So you're good to go as far as copying those from my blog. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.